Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content.
The Cavs played such a weird game today against the Miami Heat. Look, they almost won this game, and, well, let me back up a little bit. On paper, when you look at this game coming into it, the Miami Heat had no business winning this game. But then the game started. And the way the Cavs played for most of this game, the Cavaliers had no business winning this game. And then Sam Merrill made 4 threes in a row, tied the game up inexplicably. The Cavs actually play some decent basketball down the stretch, get a stop, and they get an opportunity to close the game out. Jalen Tyson can make some free throws, and you're thinking at this point, wow, the Cavs are going to steal this one. The Miami Heat have no business winning this game. And then Jalen Tyson misses a free throw. One thing leads to another. I think there was like a big Evan Mobley stretch in there where Evan Mobley made some big threes. I actually thought Johnny Bryant, who was in because Kenny Atkinson got ejected in the third quarter, made a mistake calling the timeout on one of those plays where it looked like Evan was about to make a three, called a timeout to get a play set. They started fouling on the threes. It didn't end up mattering because I think Donovan Mitchell made one of the most fluky threes you've ever seen in your life after that. But it was a wild game. Look, the Cavs should have won this game because they're a better team than the Miami Heat. But they played pretty bad basketball today. So the team that should have won this game, the team that played better in this game, won this game, and that's the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat were just a better basketball team today. And that's not something the Cavs should take lightly. They should be able to beat a team, especially when Bam Adebayo is not playing, especially when Tyler Hero is not playing. I mean, this is a basketball team that they absolutely crushed in the first round last year. I know they got Norman Powell. They're a little bit different. They got Jamie Jaquez, playing more minutes. But let's be real here. This shouldn't have been a close game. The Cavs were fully healthy, rested coming into this game, and it looked like the South Beach got them, right? You know how they talk about the South Beach shooting splits? It looked like that happened today because the Cavs had just all-time South Beach numbers. It looked like the only person who didn't enjoy Miami was Evan Mobley and Dean Wade, because Dean Wade went 3 of 4 from 3. Evan Mobley went 3 of 4 from 3. Absolutely horrendous numbers from everybody else, even the players you rely on, right? DeAndre Hunter, 2 of 8 from 3. Donovan Mitchell, 3 of 16 from 3. Darius Garland, who we got to talk about because he left this game injured. Hopefully it's not a big deal, but it didn't look like it's not going to be something that we're going to have to talk about for a couple of weeks here because he left the game. He had to foul himself out the game, and he went straight to the locker room. He was limping. It wasn't like there wasn't a singular incident where you saw it and you're like, oh, he done messed up his toe again. But it's kind of reminiscent, ironically enough, because it's in the same building where he hurt his toe the last time, of when he got the injury to begin with, because you just saw him limping randomly. Like there wasn't a big moment that made it happen. You just saw him limping randomly. And then he checked out the game, and then you found out he was injured, and he was injured for a very long time. I really hope that it's not a re-aggravation of that injury. I hope the Cavs were taking every precaution when they brought him back. What seemed like a little early here. Hopefully it's just a scare and not a horrendous event here in the Cavs season, because we know what this team looks like without Darius. They're not gonna be able to win the finals without him. So yeah, Darius looks like he might be injured. That's something that they have to monitor. Hopefully it's not the case. Another thing to talk about here, well, I was talking about the three-point shooting. The three-point shooting was just dog duty today, right? 2 of 8 from DeAndre Hunter, 3 of 16 from Donovan Mitchell, 1 of 3 from Darius Garland, 3 of 7 from Lonzo Ball. I'll take 3 of 7 from Lonzo Ball, actually. That's 42%. It's fine. 4 of 16 from Sam Merrill, And then 2 of 6 from Jalen Tyson. I'll take that. I'll take 2 of 6 from Jalen Tyson. That's fine. That's not terrible. And then Craig Porter missed the 3, but I'm not going to be mad at him. Yeah, it's easy to forget because like Donovan and Sam ended up making like big threes in this game that ended up extending the game. But when your best 2 3-point shooters shoot 18 and 25% respectively, I don't think you're going to have a great night, right? When you go 21 of 65, we took 65 threes in this game. Keep in mind, how many threes did the Heat took 36 threes. He took 65 threes, made 21 of them, and like that ended up keeping pace. So, there's that whole analytic theory about like just shooting up all the threes and shit. We're shooting up all the threes. I don't mind jacking up a ton of threes, but like if you're at 18%, if you're at 25%, then what do? Because you don't want to teach these guys to start to be timid. You don't want to see Sam Merrill start to hesitate. So what do you really do? How do you change up the offense when that becomes the case? I think that's the danger of building your offense around shooting these threes, is it makes it so that it's hard to pivot if them threes don't drop. And I think that's been a problem for the Cavaliers. So yeah, this game was something else, right? Like you got Kenny Atkinson getting ejected. Then you got Darius Garland getting injured. And then you have whatever happened at the end of regulation of this game. And then whatever happened at the end of overtime. By the way, let's talk about some of these end of game sets that the Cavs get. I like Kenny Atkinson. I think Kenny Atkinson is a good coach. But I do have this one criticism of Kenny and his assistants. I swear to God, we never get a good look off these end of game inbounds plays. We don't ever get a good look off of it. Like, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just talking from seeing things and not really like charting them. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me. I'll come on here and stand corrected. But it feels like whenever we call a timeout to draw up a play, we're not getting a good look off that play. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's personnel. I don't know. But I prefer when we don't call the timeout at the end of the game, because it feels like the looks we get out of sideline, out of bounds plays are just not great consistently, right? We struggle to inbound the ball to begin with because we can't get separation. Luckily, we successfully inbounded the ball today. So, there's some small steps there. Shout out to Lonzo Ball. But yeah, I just don't feel like we get good looks. Like, am I wrong here? Again, I'll be willing to be standard corrected here, but it just does not feel like the Cavs get good looks out these sideline out of bounds plays. And I thought it popped up again because the 3 that the Cavs made to tie the game, it wasn't the design 3 that they tried to get with Sam Merrill, which I thought was a decent enough look, right? They're trying to foul to avoid the 3. You get a little space there with Sam, but it's a real tight shot. And then you get the rebound from Donovan, and then Donovan puts it back in. But then to get back onto my issue with the sideline out of bounds stuff, we're also bad at defending sideline out of bounds plays. Again, maybe I'm just remembering a few large examples, and it's ruining how I can look at the entire group, right? How I can look at the entire group of evidence here, right? Maybe I'm just over sampling a couple of examples here. But it just does not feel like we defend well on sidelines out of bounds. It does not feel like we get good looks out of sidelines out of bounds. And it's been a thorn in this team's side for a long time, even with JB Bickerstaff and now with Kenny Atkinson. And, you lose this game because DeAndre Hunter, who I understand why he was in the game at that point, I just get nervous about having DeAndre Hunter in his situations, and maybe this is just me, but DeAndre Hunter fouls a lot as a defender, and there was like 0.4 seconds left on the clock. So the one thing you really did not need to have happen was DeAndre Hunter foul before the ball gets inbounded, because then that gives Miami the chance to break the tie with a shot without time elapsing. So I personally would have preferred if he wasn't in there in that situation. Like, I don't get why that can't be Jared Allen there. There might be a really good basketball reason for this, right? But, or Jared Allen or somebody else there who doesn't. I get not wanting Jalen Tyson in there either, because like earlier he did do the mess up. So I don't know who you go to. Maybe Max Strus when he's back. Maybe that's who's in there. But yeah, I don't love in that specific situation having DeAndre out there, because he's such a fouler. Like, he just fouls so much. He's so touchy in that elbow area, sometimes unnecessarily so. So it makes me nervous when they have him in there. I think what this game opened up a discussion for is a lot of the concerns you have about the Cavs, about how they manage tight games, right? I just don't feel great about it, and I should feel much better about this team in close game situations, given how many clutch buckets Darius Garland has made over the last couple of years, given how good Donovan Mitchell is in crunch time situations. Hell, Evan Mobley was a fucking beast today in the clutch. I don't know what his clutch minutes are going to end up looking like, but he was a fucking dog in the fourth quarter of this game. I thought he should have got the ball more, but he made a lot with his opportunity. I mean, he made a huge three in this game. So like you have the firepower to be really good in these clutch situations, but we're just kind of average, like slightly above average. I feel like we should be elite. Maybe I'm just too optimistic, but feels like we should be way better in these situations. Ultimately, look, when you shoot 61 threes and you only make 21 of them, you're going to have a bad game. When your best 2 3-point shooters shoot 18 and 25%, you're going to have a bad night, especially when those guys are shooting 32 threes combined between both of them. Like, Sam Merrill and Donovan Mitchell almost shot the same amount of threes as the entire Miami Heat team. And they shot 18 and 25% collectively. Now, I don't know what you really do there, because part of their game to shoot threes. Like, I'm not going to tell Sam Merrill not to shoot threes, because we know what he could do. And hell, he did in this game. So it's just like, hey, man, you're going to run into these nights where they're going to shoot 18% and 25%. And that's just a lot of playing this way. And that's my concern about playing this way. There's really no pivot here. Right? You can't just say to Donovan, hey, you missed 5 threes in the first quarter, don't shoot any more threes. He's Donovan fucking Mitchell. He can make 5 threes in a row on his next one. So why would you tell him not to? Right? He can get hot and he's had so many third quarters like that this season. So you're not going to tell him to stop shooting and just put your head down and go to the rim. No, you're going to be like Donovan, play the way you want to play. Same thing with Sam Merrill. You're not going to tell Sam Merrill not to shoot. That's why he's out there, is to shoot. You can't be mad, oh, Sam Merrill shot 16 threes. Well, if he didn't shoot 16 threes, we're not in this game, because he doesn't end up making all 4 of those threes to get us back into the game. So that's the concern with shooting threes, right? It is a play style that does not allow itself to really be adjusted, because what most people go to is, hey, when the threes aren't dropping, do something else. That is not what you could do. The reason you could play this way, and the reason playing this way is successful, is because you got to commit to it. Hell, I think part of the problem in the Pacers series was that the Cavs started to get real timid about shooting them threes. And all of a sudden, their offensive identity was gone, and things got so much worse in that series. So that's just, they're going to have to live and die by the 3. There's a reason that's a term. Right? You live by the 3, you die by the 3. The only update to that theory is that we have seen multiple teams win championships living or dying by the 3. It used to be that you couldn't win a championship like that. Now we've seen it happen more than a couple of times. So this is just a lot of the Cavaliers. They're going to have nights where 2 players shoot 32 threes and they make a tiny amount of them, and you're not going to play that. They're not going to win those games, or maybe they're going to have to fight like hell to win those games. And that's just what it is. We'll see what happens as the season goes on. Hopefully, Darius Garland is healthy, but y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.